They say that every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child. This statement couldn't be truer in today's case. Instead of seeing his children as tiny humans who needed his protection, Jack Penrose saw them as his personal cash cows that brought in benefits from the government. His greed blinded him from their humanity in the worst way possible. He was fame-hungry, narcissistic, and diagnosed as a psychopath who made everyone's life around him a living hell. In this video, we'll look at how Penrose and his accomplices took the lives of 6 young children, and what drove them to do this heinous act. Let's get started. Jack Penrose was born in 1956 in Derby, England. He was notorious for fathering 17 children with multiple women. And if you thought he had so many children because he loved them, you would sadly be mistaken. You see, he had practically no nurturing qualities. In fact, he was an extremely violent and unpredictable man. His toxic pattern of behavior with women and children started with his first relationship. When he was 19, he charmed a 15-year-old named Lena Hart, and they began dating shortly after. In the beginning, Lena saw Penrose as an ideal partner, but it didn't take long before he suddenly became abusive in every way you can think of. His violence was so uncontrollable that he even started beating her in public. In one incident at a pub, Penrose struck Lena across the mouth with a pool cue. Needless to say, she started bleeding severely, but no one dared to intervene or try to help her. He would use any excuse he could find to harm her. For example, once Penrose broke her arm and fractured her kneecap with a hammer when she paid too much attention to a baby she had been minding. As a British Army member, he would baselessly accuse her of infidelity when he returned from postings and physically assault her. He also shot Lena in the groin with a crossbow one time because he felt her dress had been too short. Lena, still in school, often lied about the cause of her injuries to protect Penrose. After 2 years of abuse, in July 1978, Lena plucked up the courage to send Penrose a breakup letter. In response, Penrose went AWOL from the army and broke into Lena's home. He attacked her in bed, stabbing her 27 times with a 9-inch knife. According to Lena, he told her menacingly, "If I can't have you, no one else will." When Lena's mother intervened, Penrose stabbed her 11 times. Both Lena and her mother barely survived the attack. Despite being badly injured, her mother, who was a nurse, crawled to a phone and raised the alarm. Paramedics arrived to find Penrose on the stairs still holding the bloody knife. He told them, "I wouldn't bother. She's a goner. I've done a good job on her." Lena actually died twice, in the ambulance and on the operating table, as surgeons battled to save her life. Penrose had slit her stomach open and stabbed her on the back, arms, and legs. She suffered collapsed lungs and a punctured bladder, kidney, and liver. During the trial, he lied and implied he stabbed her in self-defense, but all the evidence showed otherwise. Penrose was found guilty of attempted murder and grievous bodily harm. He was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison but was released after serving just 3 years and 2 months. According to records, this early release was due to his good behavior. Needless to say, he received nothing more than a slap on the wrist and had absolutely no incentive to change his twisted ways, as we'll soon see.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
Still receiving counseling 4 decades later. Recalling her hellish life with Penrose, Lena added, "Do not say no to Jack Penrose. You don't say no to him. He doesn't understand the word." After his release from prison in 1986, Penrose married Pamela Knox. They had 3 children together, and he continued his abusive behavior. Pamela was too afraid to report him, knowing what had happened to his previous partner, Lena. She prayed that he would move on to someone else, which is what he did. In 1993, Penrose, then 37, began a relationship with a 14-year-old girl named Heather Quinn. Pamela left him after discovering the affair. The teenage Heather ran away from her parents to be with him on her 16th birthday, and they had 2 sons. Penrose was abusive towards her, even beating her for not having a girl. He even taught his older sons to be violent against Heather. Penrose wanted Heather to produce more children, but she did not conceive again. She was often punished by being locked outside the house in the garden, and told police Penrose once held a knife to her throat when she tried to leave him. Eventually, she climbed over the fence and escaped him. Heather was forced to temporarily abandon her children before regaining custody after a long court battle. She said that Penrose was a Jekyll and Hyde character, charming when they first met, but later violent. In 2000, Penrose met 19-year-old Marla Duffy. She was a single teenage mother who had recently left an abusive relationship. Penrose, she said, became her guardian angel. They moved in together shortly after. He took on responsibility for her son and proposed to her in hospital after the birth of their first child, Jade, the following year. He also began a relationship with Lisa Webb, a 16-year-old orphan who also happened to be a single mother. She became his mistress and moved in with him and Marla. Perhaps because of Penrose's domineering presence, Lisa and Marla became very close. They regularly confided in each other, and Lisa said she had treated Marla's children as her own. There is clearly a pattern here. All 3 women in Penrose's life had been teenagers when they met him. They had effectively been groomed while they were vulnerable. Penrose married Marla in May 2003, with Lisa as the bridesmaid. From that year onwards, Penrose lived with both women and had 11 children in a 3-bedroom council house. Both women worked while he remained unemployed, collecting their earnings and government benefits. Penrose actively tried to have more children to stack up his benefit payments. He requested a large council house to accommodate his growing family, but was denied due to lack of availability. Marla, marry me in 2003. Will you take my Caroline to be your wife? Will you love her, comfort her, honor, and 7 months pregnant with Jack's child on his wedding day? You love her. Penrose publicly defended his lifestyle, expressing pride in his large family and dismissing critics. He blamed the council for not providing adequate housing and argued that, as an unemployed person, he deserved more assistance from the government. Penrose tried to bring media attention to his housing situation. He appeared on The Jeremy Klein Show in 2007.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
He became agitated when questioned about his parenting and job prospects, which led to an argument with the host, Jeremy, over his irresponsible lifestyle. On the show, he insisted he had undergone a vasectomy. He defended himself in typically heated fashion, making an offensive gesture and telling the host, "Talk to that, pal. Talk to that." Penrose introduced his wife Marla and his second wife, Lisa Webb, on the show, openly acknowledging his unconventional living arrangement. He claimed he didn't care what the public opinion was about his lifestyle and large family. Penrose also said he was prepared to divorce his wife to marry Lisa, and then divorce her, simply so that she would not feel left out because she did not share the Penrose family name. He went on to have 2 more kids after it, and was dubbed Britain's biggest scrounger. After it was revealed he was raking in £25,000 a year in benefits. So Penrose's plan to gain public support for a larger house was unsuccessful. Today, I want to discover the man behind the headlines and uncover the truth about the guy who has been branded Britain's biggest scrounger. You're going to criticize my family, pal, and my kids? I'll criticize you as much as I want. This is free. In 2007, Penrose appeared in an episode of a documentary series in which the then Conservative MP and Whitfield spent a week with him and tried to persuade him to change his lifestyle. She found Penrose 3 jobs, one of which was with a barrel-making firm, but he did not turn up for work on the first day, and the job fell through. In the documentary, Penrose was shown to be living in a caravan in his garden, in which his wife and mistress would alternate in spending nights with him, and said that Penrose did not care about anyone, and that he used the word bitch to refer to both his wife and his mistress. She also noticed that none of his children sought affection from him. Although many people could not understand why the women in his life accepted their lot, or even desired it, the general opinion was that his partners got on well with one another. But behind closed doors, the tensions between the throuple had reached a boiling point.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
Of children, right? I got 3 with my first marriage, 2 with another young lady, 5 with Marla, 4 with Lisa, and 1 with another young lady, 2 on the way, that's 15. Now 2 on the way, plus 1 when I was in the armed services, which I've never met. He asked Marla to divorce him 3 times so he could marry Lisa. In 2010, Penrose was given a police caution for slapping Marla and dragging her outside by her hair. But he wasn't nice to Lisa either. Jack Penrose hit her with a piece of wood, threw a hot cup of coffee at her, and prevented her from leaving the house or speaking with any men. In February 2012, Lena had finally had enough of the toxic situation she was in. She decided to leave Penrose. She told Marla she was taking her 5 children out for swimming, but instead moved in with her sister. This was the only way she could leave without any confrontation. 3 months after Lena left, Penrose was still seething with anger and entangled in a rough custody battle over their 5 children. So he, along with his wife Marla and a family friend named Paul Mosley, did the vilest thing you can think of.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
Motivated by his greed for more benefit payments and the potential to get an even bigger council house. The plan involved Penrose and Mosley putting gasoline into the mail slot and setting fire to the house. Then Penrose would swoop in and rescue his 6 children from the fire, making himself look like a heroic father and win the custody battle. To say that this idea was misguided would be an understatement. On May 11, 2012, at 4 a.m., Penrose's plan to set fire to his house went tragically wrong. The fire spread much faster than anyone expected. It resulted in the deaths of 6 children: Jaden, Jack, Jesse, and Jaden died at the scene, while their half-brother Dwayne died in the hospital 2 days later. All deaths were caused by excessive smoke inhalation. Fire investigators reported that temperatures in the upstairs bedrooms exceeded 500 degrees Celsius, leaving no chance of survival for anyone in those rooms. Police confirmed that the fire was deliberately started with petrol under the letterbox, classifying it as arson and officially stating that 6 children had been murdered. "I can't get to the house, we got the police on the way. Have you any idea what's caused the fire?" All of these children belonged to Marla and Penrose except Dwayne, who was her teenage son from a previous relationship. Jade was only 10 years old. She was described as very intelligent and well-regarded at school. 9-year-old Jaden was cheerful, smiley, and polite. Jaden, a 5-year-old, loved lots of cuddles from family and friends, shy and bashful. Jack, 7, was the quietest sibling and a delight to be around. Jesse, 6 years old, was described as a loud character in the family. Dwayne, the eldest victim at just 13, was described as a charming and caring young boy who was a protector for his younger brothers and sisters. Nobody in the community had the slightest clue that a father could do such a thing. Many people who knew and socialized with Penrose and his family defended his lifestyle, saying negative representations of the area and the man did not live up to the reality. One local, Bobby Sutherland, was inspired to set up a charity to help pay for the funerals of the 6 children, whom he claimed Penrose loved desperately. Fighting back tears as he stood in the street outside the fire-ravaged family home, he said at the time, "Yeah, they can slag him off, but he loved his kids. Yeah, you make mistakes, but you don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that." This shows just how good Penrose was at manipulating the people around him and maintaining his image as a good husband and father. At first, Lisa Webb and her brother-in-law were questioned, but they were quickly cleared of any suspicion. Meanwhile, witnesses reported that Penrose behaved strangely for someone who had recently lost several of his children and appeared to like the media attention. A mortuary manager said Penrose engaged in horseplay when he went to view his children's bodies, even putting a family liaison officer in a headlock during one visit. As part of their investigation, the police organized a press conference where Penrose and Marla spoke. During this conference, Penrose thanked various people for their support and announced their decision to donate Dwayne's organs to save the life of another child. He expressed gratitude for the community's response and requested privacy for his family, asking that all questions be directed to the police. This press conference actually increased police suspicions. Penrose's behavior was notably inappropriate, including flirting with a female police officer. She claimed that he called her gorgeous and inferred he would like her to come back to his hotel. "We can't express our gratitude to everybody that's been concerned with the case. What's been going on? I've actually been down to my home and what we saw we just can't believe. We grew up in a community that's had a lot of problems with violence and God knows what else. And to see this community to come together like they have, it's just too overwhelming." The police found forensic evidence linking the Penroses to the crime. A discarded petrol container and glove had been found near the house. In November, forensic investigators discovered that the clothes of the Penroses and Mosley had petrol on them. For further information, they placed a recording device in the police vehicle and their hotel room. The recorded conversations revealed incriminating statements from Penrose, including him saying it was his fault they lost their children and family. He can be heard saying, "You definitely sticking with the story? I didn't mean to do it. On my life." Plus, the recording captured Penrose watching Marla perform a sexual act on Paul Mosley, their accomplice. Penrose was heard telling his wife, "I'm proud of you because you didn't want to do it. Tell me what you said to LS. Almost count how many times. Went to the LS. What did you say about me trying to go in? You tried everything you could to get in. Like I said to him, I wanted to run through the flames up the stairs. Were you crying when you said it? How bad?" "Not really bad. But I did cry. Circle mine's gone. It's my fault we lost our children. It's my fault we lost lives with our children. It's my fault we lost. I should have seen it all coming. It is my fault the fingerprint on the window, that's it. A few discrepancies, that's all it is. Mummy shaky about it. I said we're gonna go out for a drive at night. I can't remember saying that. Vicky said you were stoned. I didn't smoke." In police interviews, Mosley said he had sex with Marla over a snooker table hours before the fire broke out. It's believed this act was encouraged by Penrose to keep Mosley loyal to their cause. Penrose even admitted having 3 or 4 sexual encounters with his wife and co-defendant Paul Mosley not long after his children's deaths. These recordings, along with other evidence such as an unused ladder found at the back of the house intended for the planned rescue, also implicated Penrose, Marla, and Paul Mosley in the arson plot. On May 28, 2012, Penrose and Marla were arrested on suspicion of murder.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
Petrol on his clothing. The trial heard that Mosley had been bragging to a number of people about being a suspect, including on internet dating sites. Whatever Mosley's role, it seems that Penrose was keen to keep him on side, and police believe coercion may have been involved. In December, Mosley's charge was reduced to manslaughter. The murder charges against Penrose and Marla were also eventually downgraded to manslaughter. Evidence showed that while they didn't intend to kill their children, they planned to frame Lena for endangering the family in order to gain custody of her children. Their motivation was not solely revenge. More children meant more benefit money and potentially a larger house. On April 2, 2013, the couple, along with Paul Mosley, were found guilty of manslaughter for the deaths of the 6 children. Penrose received a life sentence with a minimum of 15 years in prison. Marla and Paul Mosley each received 17-year sentences, with a minimum of 8.5 years to be served. Marla later appealed against her sentence, but judges ruled the original term reflected the immeasurable harm she had caused. Court of Appeal judges said petrol found on her clothes showed she had participated in setting the fire, which had not been a spur-of-the-moment plan. She had also lied after her arrest, the judges said, and continued to hide the truth during her trial. In her sentencing remarks, Mrs. Justice Thirlwall said it was clear the fire was Penrose's idea, but she said Marla's children died because she put her husband first. We therefore have come to the view that this sentence cannot be criticized. The judge was careful in reaching the conclusion she did. She gave very cogent and clear reasons for it. She assessed, against her primary findings of fact, the blameworthiness of Marla Penrose and arrived at a sentence that reflected that very severe degree of blameworthiness, together with the immeasurable harm she had caused by the killing of her 6 children, for whom, like any other mother, she had an absolute responsibility. We have, after an examination of the circumstances and a careful consideration of the judges, come to the conclusion without any hesitation that this appeal must be dismissed.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
Source for The Sun, her convoy was like one given to a celebrity, rather than a mom who killed her 6 children. Marla was also given a new identity for her protection. The Center for Crime Prevention described the release as appalling and called for killers to serve their full sentences for such crimes. Paul Mosley, too, was released from prison in May 2021 after serving half his sentence, but returned to prison in 2022 after breaching terms of parole. In November 2023, he was released again. The parole panel stated, "The panel was satisfied that imprisonment was no longer necessary for the protection of the public. So while Marla and Mosley are free, Penrose is still in prison, completing his minimum sentence of 15 years. Penrose was characterized as a monster, abusive to women and exploitative of the welfare system, who viewed children primarily as a source of income." Psychologist Glenn Wilson described Penrose as clinically a psychopath and exhibitionist with antisocial personality disorder. What did you think of this horrific case and everyone involved? Do you think their sentences were too light? Penrose definitely got off way too lightly for his attempted murder charge in the 70s. Do you think these deaths were preventable had the justice system been harsher back then? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want more videos like this, please be sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more true crime videos. See you in the next one.